know where you're going. If you don't know where you come from, you don't know where you're going.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, in verse 1.
Read.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments.
Some of that. Verse 15. So, there's going to be some good things that happen to us when we go through the scriptures doing the commandments of the Most High.
Verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou shalt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power.
Stop right there. So, two things are going to happen. Going to be a blessing and a cursing. I stopped there early for a reason. So, what's going to happen is if we do something good, if we listen, we're going to get blessings. If we don't listen, we're going to get curses. Wait, one more time. Number one.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 1.
Read.
And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and to do all his commandments.
Do what?
To observe and to do all his commandments.
To do what?
To observe and to do all his commandments.
Read.
Which I command thee this day, that the Most High thy power will set thee on high.
Do what?
Will set thee on high.
No, below.
Will set thee on high.
We're going to be even.
Will set thee on high.
Read.
Above all nations of the earth.
No. It says below.
Above all nations.
No. Read what you see. It says below.
Above all nations of the earth.
Read. That's it? 15. So, if we do all the commandments and statutes the Most High give us, we're going to be above all people. As you see right now in the world, our people are at the very bottom. Why is that? Let's find out. It's 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 15.
Read.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Most High thy power.
We just read if we listen, we will get blessed, right? What's it for? Read that.
But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power.
If we don't listen, what's going to happen?
To observe, to do all his commandments. To do all his commandments.
What's our life?
To do all his commandments.
Some here, some there, some
to do
Tuesday.
all his commandments.
Read.
And his statutes, which I command thee this day. That all these curses.
All these what?
All these curses.
All these who?
All these come thee and overtake thee.
So, if we do the commandments of the Most High, we're going to be blessed. But if we don't do the commandments, we're going to be cursed. Let me get 47. No, let me get 16 first. 28:16.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 16.
Read.
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
What?
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
Our people are getting shot down in the streets. Our people are on drugs. Our people are poor. Our people are homeless. They get killed left and right. They have nothing to themselves. What's that saying?
Cursed shall thou be in the city.
That's a curse right there. That's not a blessing. Read.
And cursed shall thou be in the field.
Now, who worked in the fields? Let's go back to the past, right? In the past, we were the ones that's working the fields. We were in the sugar fields, the cane fields. Every field you can think of, we were doing that. Right now, we're in the job field right now. Where's our people at right now? We're at the bottom. We're the last high, the first fire. That's a curse right there. Keep going.
Cursed shall be thy basket and thy store.
So everything that we try to bring in is cursed. Our pockets are always empty. Why is that? Because it's a curse from the Most High, because we didn't do his commandments. Keep going.
Cursed shall be the fruit of thy body.
Read.
And the fruit of thy land.
So look at our children right now. Oh, sorry. Sure, come on, man. I'm not gonna fight you, man.
5 seconds, man. 5 seconds.
I'm right here, man.
5 seconds. I'll show you something.
What's your name, man?
Johnny. Johnny.
I'm Lord. So the love of God is very simple, man. It's not complicated. It's right in the story. I think that's what it's
There's the book of 1 John, chapter 5 and verse 3.
Read.
For this is love of the Most High.
Now, this is going to tell you what love is according to the Most High God. He told us how to love him. There's no mysteries that we hidden. You got to go figure it out on your own. He told us exactly what to do. Read that, please. 1 verse 6.
For this is love of the Most High.
Read.
That we keep His commandments.
That we do what?
That we keep His commandments.
That we do what?
That we keep His commandments.
It's that simple. Just do His commandments. Now my question to you is, how many commandments do we have? Now come on. I gave you an answer to your question, right? It's to keep the commandments, right? You find the commandments in the first 5 books of the Bible, okay? Just go through and take your time, read it. Or even better yet, Google it. Google the commandments. There's 613 commandments. And they're all very easy. We got one. First John 1 verse 6.
The book of 2 John, chapter 1 and verse 6. And this is love.
Oh, 2 John, read.
That we walk after His commandments.
That we do what?
That we walk after His commandments.
So, to love God, to love God, to do His
Shabbat Shalom, Yisrael.
Shabbat Shalom.
All praise to the Most High by Shomi Awashai. Thank the Most High for another Shabbat day. We're easy to come together in holy convocation as for the covenant that we made with our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We are the land of Zion, located down in South Florida, 2937 West Broad Boulevard. I'm an elder, Bishop Lapalar. To my left is
Kwam Yasharallah, Captain Aliyah.
And we just concluded, the Most High willing, last couple of Shabbats ago, the second book of 2 Kings, which was, an illustration or an account of Israel rulership, and also were carried away into captivity. We concluded with Israel being carried away into the kingdom of Judah being carried away into Babylon and being released. According to the scriptures, Judah was carried into Babylon for 70 years, and the Most High put his freedom on the king of Persian Media to release the Israelites after that 70-year period. Now, there were 2 kingdoms that was carried into captivity. The kingdom of Judah and the kingdom of Israel. Understand? The northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. The northern kingdom being the kingdom of Israel, the southern kingdom being the kingdom of Judah. Now, they were released by the Persian Medes. Okay, but what ensued after that was totally different. Now, one kingdom went back to their homeland, and predominantly the other kingdom decided to do something otherwise. Let's get Jeremiah 29 verse 10. That's just a brief recap. What the Most High said would happen to at least the king of Judah.
This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 29 and verse 10. For thus saith the Most High, that after 70 years be accomplished at Babylon, I will visit you and perform my good word toward you, and causing you to return to this place.
That's what the Most High said of the kingdom of Judah. After 70 years, he would visit them and cause them to return to this place, which is the homeland. And when the Most High give that word to Jeremiah to tell the Israelites that was 608 BC. Understand? 608 BC. See, they called it back, down. 608 BC, minus 70 years from that, what do you get? 538 BC. 608 minus 70, what do you get?
68 minus 70.
608.
608 minus 70.
Yeah. 538 BC. Okay. So let's get to Ezra, the book of Ezra. Ezra in the Bible, chapter 1.
The book of Ezra, chapter 1. Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia, that the word of the Most High by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled.
What word was that? We just read that word, right? Jeremiah 29, verse 10.
The Most High stirred up.
Read it from the top again.
Now in the first year of Cyrus, king of Persia,
The first year of his reign. Right?
that the word of the Most High by the mouth of Jeremiah
The word of the Most High by the mouth of Jeremiah
might be fulfilled.
and keep in mind, the word of the Most High never goes out void. It always fulfills what the Most High says it's going to fulfill. The prophecies always come to pass. Read on.
That the word of the Most High by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled. The Most High stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of
What the
Persia.
Most High do?
Stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of
Just
Persia.
like we were in Egypt. It was the Most High who stirred up the spirit of what? Pharaoh. By kings, by the Most High kings rule. So whatever is going on right now, historically, and in the future, it's always going to be up to the Most High that determines what's going on with the governance of the world and of the respective countries. You know?
Yahweh stirred up the spirit of Cyrus, king of Persia,
Right?
that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying,
Saying what?
Thus saith Cyrus, king of Persia, the Most High power of heaven have given me all the kingdoms of the earth.
He was wise enough to acknowledge that it was the Most High giving that out the power to make the decision we want to make. Read on.
And he have charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah.
Look at that. Why did the Most High charge him to build a house in Assyria, in Babylon, in Greece, or someplace else? The Most High charged him to build a house where?
In Jerusalem.
At Jerusalem, which is in Judah. Read on.
Verse 3. Who is there among you of all his people?
So who's he talking to right now? So who is Cyrus talking to right now? Who is there among you of all his people? You gotta understand, you know what I'm saying? What did it say? This is an art. You have to have reading comprehension also. Read verse 3 again.
Verse 3. Who is there among you of all his people?
Who is there among you? So who is Cyrus talking to?
He is talking to us, the Israelites.
All right.
Who is there among you of all his people?
His people.
Yeah. That's the most
So even Cyrus himself knows that the Israelites are the Most High's people.
God.
Not all people are the Most High's people, but the Israelites. Who is there among you of all his people? Understand? They know, the heathens know. Here, they know this is the Most High. We are the Most High's people. Read on. So, what's it is, and how come we don't know? So how come all people don't know that we are his people? The heathens know.
Right.
Read on.
his power be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of Yahweh power of Israel. He is the Most High, which is in Jerusalem.
See that? His power be with him. What it said? His God be with him. Understand? Let him go up to Jerusalem. The Most High punishes us for a certain period of time, but the Most High is always with us, man. Always with us. Look at that. The Most High prophesied Jeremiah 70 years earlier. Israelites, you messed up, you broke my commandments, you're going to go to Babylon and serve them for 70 years. After that, I'm going to put the spirit on the Cyrus, and your captors shall be released. But understand this. I'm punishing you for your transgressions, but I'm always with you. Because you are my people. And even the heathens will know that you are my people. Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 15, verse 13.
When Abraham with the okay.
Most High let know how many years you can be.
Yeah, go on, yeah. Alright, let's get that. Let's get that. In that case though, we weren't even a nation yet. You know what I'm saying? Well, that's how the Most High works. The Most High things scripted. We weren't even a nation yet. We weren't even, Abraham didn't even have, Isaac wasn't even born yet. Much less Jacob, much less the 12 tribes. They don't know the nation. But that's what the Most High had scripted. The Most High said what? We were going to serve our enemies in the land that wasn't ours for 400 years. They were going to come out with great substance. What did we do? We didn't do anything. But what the Most High said what? We didn't do anything. We weren't even born yet. But yet the Most High said what? We're going to serve our enemies though. But guess what though? When after you read that, get also Hebrews, it's the Romans. Because Esau wasn't even born yet. You know what I'm saying? In Romans. We're gonna get that. To show you that the Most High is futuristic. He plans things way in advance. Let's get that, man.
Genesis chapter 15 and verse 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a certainty that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs.
That's what it's saying Abraham. Abraham didn't even have a child yet. You know?
And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
400 years. The Most High, just like in that, Most High are so prophetic. 400 years, we weren't even a nation yet. We weren't even born yet. When the Most High said what? We're going to be a stranger in that land that was ours. And we're going to serve a nation for 400 years. I said, 400 years. So how can they complain? How can these heathens complain that we're going to be ruling forever? We served them for 400 years before we were even born. What did we do? We didn't do anything. What if you serve them for 400 years though? Okay. Is there more than that?
Coming down to 16.
Read on.
And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with a great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But
that was the first Egypt, right? Right now we're in the second Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
Just said the Most High judged that nation, and we came with great substance. The Most High is going to judge this nation again, the second Egypt. Get Hebrews.
whoever calls the name of the Lord. That's I know
I
that's
think Romans. I think it's Romans. It's Romans, okay. That was, yeah, different one. 9:11. Romans 9:11.
okay. This is the book of Romans, chapter 9 and verse 11. For the children being not yet born.
But the children be not yet. What children? Jacob and Esau. And you can go back to Genesis 25 to get the details of that. Read on.
For the children being not yet born, neither having done any good or evil.
Right, so Jacob and Esau weren't even born yet, so obviously they didn't transgress it. Right? Read on.
That the purpose of Yah, according to election, might stand.
And the purpose of Yah. The Most High can script in it. I mean, he can script anything the way he wants it. Just like we already read in Genesis 15:13. Abraham didn't have a child yet. But the Most High prophesied of what? You're going to be in Egypt for 400 years serving our enemies. Not because of a transgression, but what? That's what the Most High wanted it. That's what the Most High will orchestrate. Read on.
That the purpose of Yah, according to election, might stand.
The purpose of Yah, according to election, according to what? Election. Read on.
Not of works, but of him that calleth.
Not of works, but of him that calleth. That's what the Most High wanted it. Read on.
It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated.
Right, that's what the Most High scripted it. That's what the Most High wanted it. I'll go back to Ezra.
Verse 4. And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver.
Read again.
Verse 3. Who is there among you of all his people?
Right, the Most High's people, you Israelites. Read on.
His power be with him, and let him go up to Jerusalem, which is in Judah, and build the house of the Most High. Power of Israel. He is the Most High, which is in Jerusalem.
And let's know that the Most High is with us, even though we are in captivity. Just like the Most High was in Israel, even though they were in captivity under the Persian Medes and the Babylonians. Read on.
Verse 4. And whosoever remaineth in any place where he sojourneth, let the men of his place help him with silver, and with gold, and with goods, and with beasts, beside the free will offering for the house of the Most High that is in Jerusalem. Then rose up the chef and the fathers of Judah and Benjamin, and the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit the Most High had raised.
So this let you know the tribes that made up the southern kingdom: Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Understand? That's the tribes that was still in Jerusalem. Understand? It's the tribes that went from Jerusalem to the west coast of Africa, and also to through the so-called Mediterranean. Just giving an idea of where the various tribes may be predominantly, because any Israelite can be anywhere at any given point in time, but predominantly Judah, Benjamin, Levi were the ones left in Jerusalem, and as in Babylon typically said, sold toward the Mediterranean, and then sent to the west coast of Africa. Understand? We're going to read in the Apocrypha about the other 9 tribes. What happened to them? Read on.
And the priests and the Levites, with all them whose spirit the Most High had raised to go up to build the house of the Most High, which is in Jerusalem. And all they that were about them strengthened their hands with vessels of silver, with gold, with goods, and with beasts, and with precious things.
See that? After 70 years, though, they knew who they were. Understand? Because what? The forefathers, passed down on history and all that, communication and all that. You know what I'm saying? So they were not disconnected from their heritage. They were proud of themselves to the point that they said, okay, I got this gold, got this silver, got this money, whatever. I can donate this to the cause. Because what? They were proud of themselves, their heritage. And they want to go back and rebuild their nation. You know?
And with precious things beside all that was willingly offered. Also Cyrus the king brought forth the vessels of the house of the Most High, which Nebuchadnezzar had brought forth out of Jerusalem, and had put them in the house of his gods. And even those did Cyrus king of Persia bring forth by the hand of Mithredath, the treasurer, and numbered them unto Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah. And this is the number of them: 30 chargers of gold, 1,000 chargers of silver, 29 knives, 30 basins of gold, silver basins of a second sort, 410, and other vessels 1,000. And all the vessels of gold and of silver were 5,400. All these did Sheshbazzar bring up with them in the captivity that were brought up from Babylon unto Jerusalem.
Right. So the Sheshbazzar, the prince of Judah, but of all those precious metals and wealth that the Israelites in Persia donated toward the cause, toward the rebuilding of the temple. Chapter 1 of Ezra. Let's go to chapter 2, Ezra.
Ezra chapter 2. Now these are the children of the province that went up out of the captivity.
I could say this is a 538 BC.
That went up.
And I understand that. Even though right now the focus is on the southern kingdom, which is Judah, the northern kingdom was also be released at this point in time. Understand? Because the northern kingdom first went into captivity in 722 BC. Understand? By the Assyrians. Then the southern kingdom went into captivity under the Babylonians in 608 BC. Then the Persian Medes took over rulership. There was what? A changing of the superpower of the rulership. And the Assyrians, the Babylonians, now the Persian Medes are the superpower at this point in time, in 538 BC. And they had all of Israel in captivity. Understand? That they had the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom in captivity in 538 BC. Right on. Go ahead.
That would be like considered a modern day like Iran, right? Like the Persians, maybe modern day. I know Iran changed its name.
This said around the Persian reference to Iranians.
Ezra Chapter 2. Now these are the children of the prophets that went up out of the captivity, of whose which had been carried away, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away unto Babylon, and came again unto Jerusalem.
See that? They were carried away by what? By who? Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonians. But why have they been, but now they're being released by the Persians? What did I tell you? The Persians took over rulership. The Persians now took over rulership from the Babylonians. Understand? And follow that, bro? Right, okay, read on.
And came unto Jerusalem and Judah, and came again unto Jerusalem and Judah, every one unto his city, which came with Zerubbabel, Jeshua, Nehemiah, Sariah, Realiah, Mordecai, Bilsan, Mizpar, Big Vagai, Rehum, Baana, the number of men of the people of Israel. The children of Parash, 2,172. The children of Shephata, 372. The children of Arah, 775. The children of Pa'ath, Moab.
So basically, from this point on, there's numbering the various lineage and so on and so forth. Which children, which family went up to Jerusalem from Persia. So that's what it's going to be from verse 3 to
probably 57.
Verse 57. So even though they're all people and they're very important where they were, but I mean, for time's sake, we're going to skip over that. Okay, let's jump to verse 58.
Verse 58. All the Nethinims and the children of Solomon's servants were 392.
All the Nethinims. All of the Nethinims. That word Nethinims. What are the Nethinims? All the Nethinims. That's not, you know the word Nethinims, that suffix names, it always insinuate like the giants, the other nations. Yeah, the giants are. If you read the scriptures, when I see the suffix names, it's all referring to other nations that were so-called from a certain lineage that were of higher physical stature, so-called giants. All the Nethinims and the children of Solomon's servants. The children of Solomon's servants. Who says Solomon's servants? The children of Solomon's servants. Who were Solomon's servants? Were they Israelites or were they heathens? The children of Solomon's servants were 392. I read on because it doesn't specify the children of Solomon's servants. It didn't say Solomon's children. There's the children of Solomon's servants. With Solomon, this is a long time ago. Solomon died when 933 BC. This is 538 BC. This is like what? 400 years. So the children of Solomon's servants. So these people kept tagging records of the lineage from which they came. Yeah, because Solomon died in what? 933 BC, right? And now this is 538 BC. It's almost 400 years later. When I say what Solomon's beast, the children of Solomon's servants were 392. I read on. So the people were very proud of, the lineage and who they served and all that, who they were associated with, what bloodline they came from. Heritage is very, very, very important. That's why the scripture, the children of such and such and such and such and so on. They kept records of the lineage. You know.
Verse 59. And these were they which went up from Tel Malah, Tel Harsah, Sherah, Adan, and Immer, but they could not show their father's house, and their seed, whether they were of Israel.
See that? And these were they which went up from Tel Malah. See, there were some amongst them who couldn't prove that they were Israelites. Understand? So we show you that one. They required proof. The elders and the rulers, the princes and so on, they required proof of the people of the lineage from which they came. And some didn't have the record. And these were they which went up from Tel Harsah, Kerah, Adam, and Imna, but they could not shew their father's house. Who's their father? They could show. And their seed, whether they were of Israel. They couldn't prove that they were Israelites. Read on.
Verse 60. The children of Deliah, the children of Tobiah, the children of Nekoda, 652. The children of the priests and the children of Habaiah, the children of Kaz, the children of Barzillai, which took a wife of the daughters of Barzillai the Gilead, and was called after their name. These sought their register among those that were reckoned by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore,
there was a lot of people, who couldn't prove their ancestry, couldn't prove what lineage they came from. Read on.
These sought their register among those which were reckoned by genealogy, but they were not found. Therefore were they as polluted, put from the priesthood.
Okay, so they couldn't prove that they were Levites. You know.
And the Tershatha said unto them that they should not eat of the most holy things, till there stood up a priest with Urim among the Thummim. The whole congregation, Thummim. The whole congregation together was 42,303 score, beside their servants and their maids, of whom there were 7,337. And there were among them 200 singing men and singing women. Their horses were 736. Their mules 245. Their camels 455. Their donkeys 6,720. And some of the chief of the fathers, when they came to the house of the Most High, which is at Jerusalem, offered freely the house of Yah to set it up in his place. They gave after their ability unto the treasure of the work 61,000 drams of gold, and gave in 5,000 pounds of silver and 100 priests' garments. So the priests and the Levites and some of the people and the singers and the porters and the Nethinims dwelt in their cities, and all Israel in their cities.
Right, so they all went up. Some were not able to prove the lineage, the house they came from, and some were not able to prove that they came from the priestly lineage. Okay. And they all gave our money to according to the financial status, which go towards the rebuilding of the temple. Verse chapter 3.
Ezra chapter 3. And when the 7th month was come, and the children of Israel were in their cities, the people gathered themselves together as one man to Jerusalem. Then stood up Joshua, the son of Jozadak, and his brethren, the priests, and Zerubbabel, and the son of Shealtiel, and his brethren, and builded the altar of the Most High, of the power of Israel, to offer burnt offerings thereon, as it is written in the law of Moses, the man of the Most High. And they set the altar upon his bases, for fear was upon them because of the people of those countries. And they offered burnt offerings thereon unto the Most High, even burnt offerings morning and evening. They kept also the feast of tabernacles, as it is written, and offered the daily burnt offerings by number, according to the custom, as the duty of every day required. And afterward offered the continual burnt offering, both of the new moons and of the set feasts of the Most High, that were consecrated, of every one that willingly offered, and a free will offering unto the Most High.
Right, so basically, this chapter is giving an account of the contribution that they made, and what's been offered, as sacrifice that's been offered by the Israelites unto the Most High, and so on and so forth. That's what this chapter is talking about now. So let's jump to chapter 4 right now.
Ezra chapter 4. Now when the adversaries of Judah and Benjamin heard that the children of the captivity builded the temple of Yahweh, power of Israel.
Right, no, the adversaries, what adversaries? What enemies? When they heard that the children of Judah and Benjamin, the children of the captivity, was it that the children of the captivity, because what? The older generation probably died off. The older generation probably went down when they were adults, another 70 years, of course. Some of them are, depending on how old they were when they went, they died off. But the younger ones now are the ones who were born there, but knew of their heritage, went back to Jerusalem to build the temple. Read on.
Verse 2. Then they came to Zerubbabel and to the chief of the fathers, and said unto them, Let us build with you, for we seek your power, as ye do. And we do sacrifice unto him since the days of Esar-Haddon, king of Ashur, which brought us up hither. But Zerubbabel and Joshua and the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power.
Yeah, they weren't stupid. These heathens rolled up on them and said, you know what? We see you guys went around. That's a good thing. We see that you Israelites want to rebuild your temple. But can we join you? Can we join you in rebuilding your temple? Because, your power is our power. What? But Zerubbabel said what? What Zerubbabel and Joshua said? And the rest of the chief of the fathers of Israel said unto them, Ye have nothing to do with us to build an house unto our power. You know?
But we ourselves together will build an house unto Yahweh our power of Israel, as King Cyrus, the king of Persia, hath commanded us.
Right, we don't need you guys. You know?
Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building.
What does that mean?
Start
Sabotage us. They sabotage our the building process. Which was their intention to begin with? What do you got?
This is very common in the Caribbean. If you are building a house, oftentimes you put some cement there. Then when you come back, it is not there. But people that are envious of you, of you building the house, oftentimes they tend to steal the materials from the construction site.
Right, yeah. Because it's hard to, it's very hard to have overnight watch. It's hard to have security driving around because you got to pay the officers. And resources are so scarce. I'm saying, basically, the same thing goes on with prey larceny, crops, and so on and so forth in the Caribbean. You plant a corn, when it's time to go on, when it's time to reap, you can't get to maybe 7 weeks later, it's time to reap. When you go there, but the corn is gone. So I'm saying, that's how it is. The time you brought, the time to watch your crop, and when it's time for you to reap, somebody already reaped your crop.
Right.
Go back to
Verse
chapter 4. Yeah.
Verse 4. Then the people of the land weakened the hands of the people of Judah and troubled them in building.
The people of the land. What people of the land? What did I tell you? They were different, just like in Purim, with Esther and Mordecai. There were other nationalities there besides us in captivity. Understand? There were other nationalities, just like there were other nationalities there. Just even in Egypt. It's not already in Egypt. There was a mixed multitude of people, strangers who came with Israel. Right. That's why they were in slavery to begin with, because Pharaoh was concerned that if there was some kind of altercation, then we the Israelites would join ourselves with the strangers of the other nations to overthrow it, because we were a large population. So there was always, whenever there's, just like in America, so-called white man, Esau is ruling by what? So-called mixed multitude of people here, right? It's not the so-called Negroes. You have other races and other ethnic groups, right? So it's always that case. So the people of the land refer to what? The other heathens. No, the heathens saw that they were jealous of us. Because they saw that the Most High was with us. And we were now being returned to our homeland. But they were still in captivity. That's why they got angry. That's why they got envious of us. That's why they sabotage us. Read on.
Verse 5. And hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even until the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
See what they do? And hired counselors against them to frustrate them, to frustrate their purpose. All the days of Cyrus, king of Persia, even unto the reign of Darius. It was a long time. The sabotages and frustration of our rebellion process during the time of Cyrus, man, until Darius. So remember. Go back to chapter 1, verse 1. All this started what? The first year of Darius, the first year of Cyrus.
Right. Ezra Chapter 1.
Verse 1.
Now in the first year of Cyrus king of Persia, that the word of the Most High by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Most High stirred up the spirit of Cyrus king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom, and put it also in writing, saying,
Right. So this read out. Someone.
Thus saith Cyrus king of Persia, the Most High power of heaven have given me all the kingdoms of the earth, and have charged me to build him an house at Jerusalem, which is in Judah.
Right. So the process started from the very first year of Cyrus's reign. And the heathen stalled the process, the rebellion process, throughout Cyrus's tenure. So now we in the rulership of Cyrus's successor, which is Darius. Read on.
Verse 6.
Go back to chapter 4.
Verse 6. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem.
You know what? Read verse 5 again.
Verse 5. And hired counselors against them to frustrate their purpose all the days of Cyrus king of Persia, even unto the reign of Darius king of Persia.
Even during the reign of Darius' rulership, they were still sabotaging us. So we weren't getting anything done until Ahasuerus. In verse 6 now.
Salakia. Verse 6. And in the reign of Ahasuerus, in the beginning of his reign, wrote they unto him an accusation against the inhabitants of Judah and Jerusalem.
So all these nations, man, they sabotaged us, they complained against us to the various, to Cyrus, to Darius, and now to Ahasuerus. So you can best believe that the nations are doing the same thing today. Complaining against us. Complaining to the authorities. In your own special way. What? Trying to sabotage us and trying to stop our progress. You know?
Verse 7. And in the days of Artaxerxes wrote Bishlam, Mithredath, Tabeel, and the rest of the companions of Artaxerxes, king of Persia. And the writings of the letter was written in the Syrian tongue and interpreted in the Syrian tongue. Rehum, the chancellor, and Shimshai, the scribe, wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes, the king, in this sort. Then wrote Rehum, the chancellor, and Shimshai.
So the letter that I sent to Ahasuerus was written in what? In the Syrian language. You know?
Then wrote Rehum, the chancellor, and Shimshai, the scribe, and the rest of the companions, the Denonites, and the Apharshathites.
Something now in verse 8 it says Rehum, the chancellor, and Shimshai, the scribe, wrote a letter against Jerusalem to Artaxerxes, the king, in his sword. So we had Cyrus, Darius, Ahasuerus, and Artaxerxes. 4 kings. So these guys never let up. They were these heathens, man. They were relentless, man. So we have to understand that no matter how much you pretend to like us, and pretend that they want to build with us, the ultimate motive is what? To sabotage us for progress. So that's why you see every time you look around, you see You see the other nations excelling in our communities. What? We can progress. Just the other day I was reading something in the news about the hair care and beauty products. So African American hair care and beauty products. That's like multi-billion-dollar industry. Understand? But the Moabites, so-called Chinese and Koreans, they are a major player in that industry. They have their shops, all the major shops, commit that nail salons, AK product, you know what I'm saying? They control all that. And our people, we're trying to get into it. What? Because they control the products. They refuse to sell on a wholesale basis to the so-called African American or people, the Judah. You know what I'm saying? Because they try to go run to the sabotage, and they try to sabotage them. So next thing you know, they have the products because most of the products come from China and all that. But they refuse to sell to our people. Because our people can't get products, what happens? The customers, which are our own people again, go to Moab. Then what? Then our business fail. So they have many different strategies that they use to sabotage our industry. You know what I'm saying? And that's just one aspect. That various other things that they gave with us. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say they made a lot of changes to the Patriot Act, which it makes it so they can seize the assets of people for doing things like calling out their denomination, going out and speaking about things that are against. I have to read it to you.
So with the hair, especially like in our communities, a lot of times whenever you go, get the hair, there's not enough people that's donating, so they're getting the hair from animals, horses, pigs, etc. And a lot of times you see the women they're patting their hair, they're scratching their heads and all.
And be like that.
Yeah. It's because the hair that's from the animals. Let's say it's from a horse. It's from the horse's tail.
Right.
That's primarily where the poop is at. So they have to clean the hair with formaldehyde, with all these different bacteria. That's not natural for the hair. So you have all these different side effects from the hair that you're putting on your head.
Right.
Like the women, let's say recently, this woman she super glued her hair to her head. Imagine, what's underneath. Well, she has a super glue, and she can't really reach that scratch that she's trying to itch.
Right.
That whole time, building up irritation, building up a whole bunch of fungus.
Yeah, the scalp it kind of your scalp it sheds and stuff like that. You get dandruff, so I don't know why they do that. I don't know why I wouldn't.
Alright, continue.
Where we at? I am in verse 9. Then wrote Rehum the chancellor, and Shimshai the scribe, and the rest of the companions, the Denites, and the Apharshites, and Tarpelites, and Asharsites, and the Archivites, and the Babylonians, and the Susanshites, and the Dehavites, and the Elamites. Elamites.
Right. Yeah, so all these different nations were part of the Persian Empire now. Even the mighty Babylonians, which were the ones that took us from our homeland. of the Elamites. Read on.
And the rest of the nations, whom the great and noble Snapper brought over, and set in the cities of Samaria, and the rest that are on this side of the river, and at such at time.
So these nations also, remember in 2 Kings 17? 2 Kings chapter 17, verse 24.
Oh, 2 Kings.
Yeah, get that real quick. Because when the Assyrians took the northern kingdom, when the Assyrians took the northern kingdom to Assyria, the Assyrians brought other nations to our homeland. Remember? And they were being torn up by the wild beasts because they weren't worshiping the Most High. According to protocol, according to how the Most High prescribed that we should worship Him. So they had to bring in Levites to show them how to worship the Most High. Let's go back. Got it?
You say 2 Kings 18?
2 Kings chapter 17, verse 24.
17 and 24. Yeah. 2 Kings chapter 17 and verse 24. Mm-hmm. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon and Cuthah, and from Ava, and from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, the place of the cities of Samaria, instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria and dwelt in the cities thereof.
Right. So now go back to Ezra. So to this day, there were people there of the nationalities who tried to sabotage the rebellion process. So these are the heathens. And that's in a country, in a homeland, and trying to sabotage the rebellion process. Go back to Ezra.
Ezra chapter 4 and verse 11. This is the copy of the letter that they sent unto him, even unto Artaxerxes the king. Thy servants, the men of this side the river, and at such a time, be it known unto the king, that the Jews which came up from thee to us are come unto Jerusalem, building the rebellious and the bad city, and have set up the walls thereof, and joined the foundations. Be it known now unto the king, that if this city be built, and the walls set up again, then will they not pay toll, tribute, and custom, and so thou shalt damage the revenue of the kings.
So now they're going hard. They're hitting hard at Israel.
Mm-hmm.
They wrote letters to Artaxerxes, King Senua. Don't understand this, that these Israelites, if you ever allow them to build the city again, and build up those walls up again, don't understand that all the tributes and the tolls and all that you are people together from them, all that is going to be cut off. Because these are rebellious people.
That's right.
Proud people. Warlike people. That's what the complaint they were making to Artaxerxes, the Persians, about Israel. You know?
Verse 14. Now because we have maintained from the king's palace. Maintenance. Verse 14. Now because we have maintenance from the king's palace, and it was not met for us meat. It was not meat. Met. Meat.
Yeah.
It was not meat for us to see.
We're not doing that fitting, we're not convenient. That's what I mean. You know what I mean?
For us to see the king's dishonor Therefore, we have set and certified the king.
Right. We didn't appreciate that. We did not meet for us to see the king's dishonor. Therefore, we have sent and certified the king. So they were saying, we do this on out of respect for you. We didn't appreciate the word these Israelites are planning to disrespect you and usurp your authority. So we're looking at for you, king. That's what they were saying. Read on.
That search may be made in the book of the records of thy fathers.
Look at that. Search may be made in the books of the records of thy fathers. Remember that Artaxerxes like what? Fourth kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
You had what? That's Cyrus, Darius, Ahasuerus,
No, Artaxerxes.
Artaxerxes.
Mm-hmm.
Since the fifth king. So and even before that. So besides, they're referring to our ancient history. How we had fought these different wars against different nations. So they're trying to portray us as what? As a violent nation, a rebellious nation, a hostile nation. That if we ever back into the rulership, we're gonna give them a hard time. That's what they're trying to say. So therefore, don't let them rebel. That's what they're trying to say. Read on.
15. That search may be made in the books of the records of thy fathers. So shalt thou find in the books of the records, and know that this city is a rebellious city, and hurtful unto kings and provinces.
Look at that. You're not obedient. Read on.
And that they have moved sedition within the same of old time, for which cause was this city destroyed. We certify the king that if
we assure you, king, we ain't lying to you. That's what they're saying. Read on.
we certify the king that if this city be built again,
If the city be built again, read on.
and the walls set up by this means, thou shalt have no portion on this side the river.
These Israelites, if you ever rebel this nation, you know what I understand that these Israelites will not be paying tribute to you. They're not going to pay their toes to you. They're going to look to overthrow you. Read on.
Then said the king an answer unto Rehum the chancellor, and to Shimshai the scribe, and to the rest of their companions that dwelt in Samaria, and unto the rest beyond the river, peace, and at such a time.
Right. So this is how we know that also that a lot of the people that was in Samaria were heathens. Even though Israel was sin, that's the match like Yahweh says. Go to Matthew 5:6. Go out to the way of the Gentiles to Samaria, because where are these people from? People in Samaria. These are the same people that were brought there. These are people brought there by the Syrians. Understand? In Samaria, they're not the kingdom. Fighting against Israel because they were ignorant here at all. Read on. Even though Samaria was actually in the northern kingdom and Judah was in the southern kingdom, but it's the same geographically same land. Read on.
Verse 18. The letter which ye sent unto us hath been plainly read before me, and I commanded, and search hath been made, and it is found that this city of old time hath made intersection against kings, insurrection against kings, and that rebellion and sedition have been made therein. There have been mighty kings also over Jerusalem, which have ruled over all countries beyond the river, and toll, tribute, and custom was paid unto them.
What do you expect? Yeah, we were a mighty power too. Understand? Mm-hmm. So they were complaining against us about we were an insurrection, uprising, rebellions against different nations who were trying to rule us. And how at a certain point in time we and other nations paying tribute to us. That's what the word the Persian king. Read on.
Give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, and that this city be not built until another commandment shall be given from me.
Wait, so no, hold on a second.
He was saying, tell me why these people should cease.
Read on.
I'm going to read it again. Verse 21. Give ye now commandment to cause these men to cease, and that this city be not built until another commandment shall be given from me.
Look at that. So now these people in Samaria, the heathens in Samaria, when I was saying that, well, no, requesting the king to what? To stop the rebellion process until the heathens in Samaria approve of it. That's what they're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Verse 22. Take heed now that ye fail not to do this. Why should danger grow to the hurt of the kings? Now the copy of the king Artaxerxes' letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai the scribe and their companions. They went up in haste to Jerusalem unto the Jews, and made them to cease by force and power. Then ceased the work.
Go to verse 21.
21.
Hold on a second. Right, okay, so this letter was actually from Artaxerxes to the heathens in Samaria. Right, go back to verse 17.
17.
Then said the king an answer unto Rehum, the chancellor,
Right.
unto Shehum, the scribe, and the rest of the commanders that dwell in Samaria, and unto the rest of the other river. Peace be unto you. Right. So this is actually a letter from Artaxerxes, telling the Samarian, the heathens in Samaria, to have them stop the rebellion of the temple and the nation. Read on.
Verse 22. Take heed now that ye fail not to do this. Why should damage grow to the hurt of the kings? Now the copy of the King Artaxerxes' letter was read before Rehum and Shimshai the scribe and their companions, and they went up in haste to Jerusalem unto the Jews, and made them to cease by force and power. Then ceased the work of the house of Yah which is at Jerusalem. So it ceased unto the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia.
So it ceased unto the 2nd year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. You know, this is not the same Darius, right? So this is not Darius like Darius II. Because remember who's you have Cyrus, and you have Darius. Ahasuerus,
and then Artaxerxes,
and then this king, right?
Now Darius.
So this Darius now was Darius II, from the same lineage. Okay, we're gonna stop there. We're gonna stop there today. With the season put a season that says on the rebuilding of the temple. So the Most High willing, we're gonna continue next week and see what transpired after they had the king issue a cease and desist in the rebuilding of the temple. What do you have? Chapter 5 until chapter 9. So the Most High willing, we can wrap that up. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up, Most High willing, from 5 through 10. So that's gonna be like 6 chapters. Done. So to summarize, we went into Babylon, then the southern kingdom, 608 BC, our temple was destroyed in 586 BC. The southern kingdom, the northern kingdom also went into captivity in 722 BC under the Assyrians. Now, at this point in time, 538 BC, the Persian Medes are the superpower. Understand? They took over rulership from the Babylonians. Understand? So at this point in time, the Persian Medes were ruling over all the 12 tribes of Israel. And they also had other nationalities or heathens in our homeland, particularly the northern kingdom, in Samaria. The same heathens, which now, when we got released back in 538 BC to our homeland to build our temple and rebuild the city in Judah, they were resisting us, writing letters to various kings, all the kings from Cyrus, 5 different kings, man.
Right.
So they resisted us for a long time. So to this day, you have to understand that resistance is not new. But we have to persevere, regardless of the resistance that they put up against us. The heathens had a history of resisting Israel because what? They know we're the Most High people, and they don't want us to come into rulership over them. So they always play these games, with it collaborate, so to speak, against us. Yeah. Oh, okay. So that's what happened at this point right here. So we got released back into I didn't mention much about the northern kingdom, what happened to them, but I'm going to touch on that also most I will next week. So the focus for the most part was on the southern kingdom, go back to Jerusalem to rebuild the temple and the city. Okay, but all 12 tribes, both the northern and the southern kingdoms, were released at the same time in 538 BC. Okay, so the most I will we're gonna refocus and continue on that next week. So Amadi Wapanya, Yerushalayim, son of face Jerusalem. Psalms 133. Shayar, Hama Ailwa, Ladawad, Ana, Ma, Tawab, Wama, Na'ayam, Shabbat, Akyam, Gam, Yakad, Kashaman, Atawab, Ail, Ara'ash, Yarad, Ail, Zakwan, Aran, Shayarad, Ail, Paya, Yawa, Katal, Ramwan, Shayarad, Ail, Aroria, Tazayawan, Paya, Sham, Tazawa, Yahawah, Abarakad, Hayawam, Ayalam, Bahasham, Hamashiach, Hawashai, the water, Aman.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 133. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Most High commanded the blessings, even life forevermore. by Hashem Hamashiach Yahushai, the water, the Yad, Man.